Us by sending messengers and by sending down books. And we believe that all the messengers came with the same way of life, which was submission. Submission in Arabic is Islam. And to worship one God. So that's why we believe Islam is true. But
wait, repeat that one more time. I need to comprehend it more.
So it's a process.
Yeah.
So as you said, you're an atheist.
Yeah.
So usually we'll just discuss is there a God or not. But because you asked why we're Muslim, we believe there's a God for a number of reasons. I can come back to it. But when we believe there's a God, we believe that He created everything for a purpose. So therefore we should have a purpose. Then we believe that it's only logical and only reasonable that He informed us of that purpose. And the way that's done is by sending messengers, such as, you've heard of Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, peace be upon all of them, and by sending books. So as Muslims, we believe all the messengers came with the same way of life, which was submission, submit to God, worship God alone, and try your best to follow His commandments and stay away from His prohibitions. And this, we'd say submission, in Arabic is called Islam. So that's why I'm Muslim, that's why I believe Islam is true.
Okay.
But it's all built upon the first point, is there a God or not a God?
Yeah, it's true. But how would you even know that He's real?
How would you know He's real?
You did say He sent messengers.
Yeah.
But other than that, where's like the proof?
Okay. I mean, it's interesting in the Quran, in chapter number 2, it mentions something quite interesting. It mentions a question. Kayfa takfuruna billah. How is it that you disbelieve in Allah? How do you disbelieve in a God? Because what happens is when you have this, if you say theist, a person who believes in God, and a person who doesn't believe in God, is usually the onus is upon us to explain.
Yeah.
Which I can do, but you yourself, why don't you believe in a God?
Like, I believe in myself type of thing. Like, I can be, like, I believe in, what's it called? Like paths. Like, I can go down this path or this path. It just depends on my decisions and like
free will.
In a sense, yeah. Like what I'm choosing to do.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like that. It's like I have the power to become what I need to be in a way.
Okay.
Type of thing. But yeah.
Did you make yourself?
Pardon?
Did you create yourself?
No.
Okay. See, the thing is, look, we exist. The universe exists.
Yeah.
Should there be an explanation or there shouldn't be?
So that one time
should there be a reason? Should there be an explanation, like how it exists? Or you think there shouldn't be? It's just we exist and that's it, sufficient?
I mean, yeah, there's a reason.
Okay. So if I say the reason is a all-powerful being who has knowledge, ability, and intent, that's my argument. And then the atheist argument would be
like Big Bang and like science in a way.
Okay, explain.
Explain the Big Bang.
No, like even if there's a Big Bang.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not a scientist, but even if there's a Big Bang, what caused it? What was the Big Bang made up of?
I'm not a scientist either. I don't know like all the facts, but it's like, I don't know, 2 atoms or whatever and it exploded something.
Yeah, but
like that.
Even if it's an explosion, like I can be wrong here, but even if it's an explosion, are you saying from this Big Bang that now we have a planet with atmosphere, with air, with a system of rain, with a system, and then we have human beings who. Or we have creatures which have life, which are able to reproduce, which are able to take in food, energy, dispose of food. We're able to communicate. I'm able to have feelings of love, of hope, of fear. I'm able to have memories. Are you saying this all came from a Big Bang?
Well, in my opinion, I think that is because over time, it's like over time you're gonna start to develop. It's like,
why?
It's the way I see it. It's like when you're born, you're like you don't know anything, right? But when you start growing up, you start learning new things, and you start like picking up new skills. It's like if you could like correlate that between like years of time in it and evolution. That's how I see it anyway.
Can I give a simple example? Because obviously we're talking about on a massive scale, but we'll just make it small. We have a garden. You have a garden.
Yeah.
A beautiful garden in the back of your house.
Yeah.
Okay. And you leave it.
Just leave it.
Yeah, you leave it. Do you think you're going to get vegetables, fruit, flowers, a nice lawn, or do you think you're going to get a mess?
You'll probably get like weeds and things. Probably not like flowers and things, but it depends.
Oh, sorry. Afrin, could you speak to the lady? Yeah.
It depends what is planted there before.
The lady.
She want 8. Can I give her?
Huh?
She want 8. Can
Yeah.
I give her 8?
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was saying it depends. It depends what is there originally. Or if it's just dirt, then yes, it's going to be weeds
Yeah.
and it's a mess.
Okay. Can you give any example in life where there's something which never existed, which wasn't in existence, and it came into existence by itself? Like for example, everything I know in my limited life experience, like your shirt, your bag, your shoes, this table, everything, the camera, the microphone, I know just by looking at them, without seeing them being made, I know that someone made it. I know that someone designed it. And I could never imagine that these things came into existence without a maker, without a designer. So now, if we put that on a larger scale, I just don't see how it's possible.
I understand the point. I understand the point.
Like, if give me a practical example of something coming to existence without a maker.
It's true, yeah. Everything needs to be created, but it's like...
So are you still an atheist after saying that? An atheist is someone who says there is no God.
I would say, I don't know. It's a hard one, because it's like you got to proper think about it, innit?
Yeah, why not? I don't mean to be rude, but I find it so strange. I think people who are atheists is generally social conditioning. Either they think that science can answer everything, or they're skeptical, they don't want to just blind follow, or maybe they have a bad experience or a bad opinion of religion, so therefore it leads to say they're atheist. But atheism in the Quran, chapter 52, is quite interesting. There's just 2 verses. Allah he asked the question, أم خلقوا من غير شيء أم هم الخالقون أم خلق السماوات والأرض بل لا يوقنون. So 4 things are mentioned in these two verses. أم خلقوا من غير شيء. Were they created from nothing? Or did they create themselves? And did they create the heavens and the earth, as in the earth, the sky, everything? Then the verse finishes by saying, بَلْ لَا يُوقِنُونَ, but rather they have no certainty. They have no certainty. So here, it's a very simple question. Were they created from nothing? So nothing existed, and then from that nothing, we came into existence. The simple answer is no. Nothing cannot create something.
Yeah.
So next option is, or did they create themselves? Like, if we didn't exist, can we bring ourselves into existence? The answer is no. So without mentioning it, it necessitates there has to be a creator. There has to be a creator. And then it continues by saying, or did they create the heavens and the earth? So even if human beings came into existence, you know, we need to live on a planet. There's one person, he was, what's his name, Anthony Flew. He was a very famous atheist. Before he passed away, he began to believe in a God. I'm not sure what religion he chose, but he actually died believing there has to be a God. So he gave a number of examples. One of the examples he gave, he said, imagine you're on a journey. You come to a hotel. And this is paraphrasing this example. When you come to the hotel, you get taken to your room. The walls is your favorite color. There's music playing, is your favorite song. There's on the bed, there's a nice scent, an aftershave. It's your favorite smell. food is brought and it happens to be your favorite food. There's a book there for you to read. It happens to be your favorite book. If all these things happened and you haven't discussed with the hotel management, you haven't told anyone about your journey, would you not think that this room has been prepared for you? Or would you think this is just an amazing coincidence?
Yeah, I'd say it's prepared for you, but how would they even know that information? That's the question.
No, I'm just saying it happened, just for example. Now, so when human beings are born on this planet, or we come into existence on this planet, and we have the right level of the air we breathe.
Sorry, can you speak a bit louder? I can't hear you.
Sorry, we have the air we breathe.
Yeah.
We have the atmosphere we live in. We have the right level of gravity. We're close enough to the sun that we have heat. Not too close that we burn up. We're not too far away that we freeze. We have seasons. You have females who you can have relationships with. You have the system of the rain. For someone to say this is just by chance and it's random and it just happened, and then say science, like, yeah, but tell me how science explains it. You can't just. Like people accuse us, like they call it the God of the gaps, that anything we can't answer, we say God done it, God done it. But you can't have a science that just say, oh, science. We don't.
Yeah, that's true.
But what's interesting is the last part of the verse. It says, "Bella yuqinun," but they have no certainty. This was said 1,400 years ago, and we believe this Quranic is the speech of God, the speech of Allah, given to the last messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But just take it that this came from a man in the desert 1,400 years ago, that he made this statement, that they have no certainty. If you look now, if you read books, if you look online, and you look at people who call towards atheism and say atheism is correct and is the right way, as the Quran says, none of them have certainty. They will say, it could be this, it's possible it's this, we think this is most likely, but we're not sure, we're still looking, science will have the answer in the future. How can a book 1,400 years ago, which came from a man who could not read or write in the desert, say, "Bal la yuqinun," they have no certainty. And up until this day, none of these people have certainty.
Well, this is messing with my mind.
Why? Why is
It's
it messing
like-
up your mind?
It's
very straightforward.
Eye-opening, I would say, eye-opening in a way. I like to hear perspectives, innit?
Yeah,
And
no, it's good to
just-
speak.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it does make sense.
It's
true.
reasonable. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I would say, that's why I mentioned in the beginning of the Quran, it says, كَيْفَ تَكْفُرُونَ بِاللَّهِ. How do you disbelieve in Allah? And when the question is put on the atheist, I don't hear a good answer. Like even if you talk about evolution, no, explain to us how life started. You have objects like, you have dust, you have rocks. Explain life. Explain life. How did life come about? Like, you know, if a person dies here, I mean, we're all going to die. When I die, as long as I die in a state where I'm physically not harmed, my dead body is going to have eyes. It's going to have a nose, a mouth. It's going to have a heart, lungs. But nothing's working because the life has been taken out. What we would say the soul. Explain that. Oh, Mr. Scientist. See, that's why for me, this is just the issue of God. But I would say then when you go on about Islam, messengers, books, the rules of Islam, the legislation, obviously you can say, well, you would say that you're Muslim, but I would say it's all reasonable. It all makes sense.
I heard that.
So now, do you believe there's a God, or you think it's very likely, or you need to think about it more? You need to find more excuses.
There's a chance that it's God.
How big is that
But
chance?
it makes sense. It does make sense.
Is it 50-50?
Like,
80-20?
I'm not too sure. I need to think about it. I need to think about it more.
Just
But
show me.
perspective does make sense. Though.
Show me something which came into existence without a maker.
Yeah, everything was made, innit? I heard that.
So why can't that apply to me and you? Like, am I not more complicated than these cameras, than your computer at home? And we would never believe that these things made themselves. So how about myself? Like, now we're thinking physical, but think about memory, think about emotions, feelings, conscience, awareness.
Yeah, I need time to think about this, but yeah, this is informative.
Let me just...
Definitely gonna think about this in the future, but what was your name, sorry?
Yusuf, sorry, I should have asked for...
Cameron.
Cameron.
Nice to meet you, man.
Can I just mention something else? So, this is one of the reasons why we believe in the Creator. Because the creation around us, we says, necessitates there should be a Creator. That's one reason. Second reason, which I think is stronger, is the natural state of the human being to recognize God. If you leave human beings alone, you don't influence them, they will believe in God. That's why, I'll explain why, in every society, in every place, wherever they use different words, different descriptions, people have always believed in a higher power, a God, whatever name they call it. Even those people who are idol worshippers or they believe in multiple gods, all of them will tell you, but there has to be one main God, and all these gods are, intermediaries, like middlemen, a means to go to the main God. So this is something which is in the human heart. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Kullu mawludin yulidu ala fitra." Every child born is born upon a natural state to recognize one God. Then his parents will change him to a Jew, a Christian, a fire worshipper. Society will change them. But human beings left alone, they believe in God. And generally people, they don't find satisfaction or purpose without believing in God. So that's a second reason. A third reason is it's a continuous message. Like, we believe that Judaism, Christianity, they have elements of truth, but they have been corrupted. But that continuous message amongst mankind, that there is one God, worship that God. This is, through history of mankind, this has always been there. So I would say, like, I'm not gonna, you have to answer me now, but I would say the reasons to believe in God far outweigh any reason not to believe in God.
Yeah, so I don't even have a counter argument or anything, but yeah.
And then just how busy are you? 'Cause I don't want to take up all your time and.
I'm trying to go home soon, but this convo was good.
Can I just? So when we say there's, so you can stop me at any time because I don't want to. Overload you.
I'm gonna listen to this last point now.
Okay. So that's the point I mentioned earlier. If we ask everyone here today in Stratford the purpose of the sun, the purpose of the rain, the purpose of your shoes, the purpose of your watch, everyone will generally give the same answer, and they will know the answer. But when you ask people what's your purpose, now people become confused. Some say it's to be happy, to have children.
Everyone has their purposes though.
But is it real, or is it just made up? Like, we would say the purpose is always given by the maker. Like the purpose of your bag, the reason why the person made it, I mean, obviously they wanted to make money, but it's for you to, they want to make a product that you want to use to carry stuff around. So the purpose is given by the maker. So we would say the one who made us gives us our purpose, and that purpose has to be conveyed to us by sending the books and by sending messengers. In the Quran is very clear. It mentions وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah says, I did not create jinn, which is a separate creation, and mankind except to worship me. We have been, the only reason why we are created is to recognize our Creator and worship Him.
Why worship Him?
Okay. When we say worship, because obviously we're speaking English and we're brought up here. In Islam, I think in Europe, worship is like some type of rituals, but in Islam, worship is everything, as in obviously praying, fasting, giving charity, but respecting your parents, looking after your parents, taking care of your wife, taking care of your children, going out and earning money. All of this is considered worship. But there's two reasons why we worship the Creator. Two main reasons. One, because He deserves it. As in, He is the Almighty, the All-Knowing, the All-Merciful. He owns us, He created us, so He deserves to be worshipped. You'll find if a person doesn't worship the Creator and doesn't submit to the Creator, they'll submit to something else. But that's one. But second reason is, Islam teaches very clearly that if all mankind was to worship the Creator, it would not benefit Him in any way. If all of us were to disobey Him and turn away from Him, it would not harm Him or lower His status in any way. So this worship is for our own benefit in this life and our own benefit in the hereafter. So in Islam, when it says, for example, that you can have sexual relationships, but only inside marriage. This is something which is good for you, this is something which is good for your wife, this is something which is good for your children, this is something which is good for society. So this would be considered worshiping the Creator, but it's for our benefit. When the Creator says, do not drink alcohol, do not deal in interest, interest-based transactions, this is something which is beneficial for us. It doesn't benefit the Creator in any way. Yeah. But it's beneficial for us. So that's why we understand we've been created to worship the Creator. And that's what we're going to be questioned about once we die. Cameron, how does that sound?
It makes sense, yeah, it makes sense.
Did you expect it to make sense?
No, not really.
Because there's an idea, I'm Muslim, I'm going to blame Christianity, but there's an idea of religious people, it just says, it's just emotional. Don't ask questions, just believe. No, Islam encourages to ask questions. Why? Why this? Why that? And we are confident that the Quran, the speech of Allah, and the Sunnah, the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, will give clear, straightforward answers for the person who is sincere.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Well, yeah, I got to think about this.
No problem.
And
we're here every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
Yeah, any questions, or you can ask your Muslim friends or stuff. Can I give you something to read?
Sure.
This is a Quran and then some basic leaflets on Islam.
Okay, cool.
Cameron.
What's your name, sorry?
Yusuf.
Yusuf. Nice
Like Joseph. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries, man.
Okay, all the best. Take care.